today? All right, today is our Less of More Life challenge, the part of the week, one day a week that I'm giving you a little bit of a challenge, something that you can do that's going to help add some value to your life for the year 2020, right? I know that things are happening right now, chaos in the world, and who knows, we're all in lockdown. We don't know what's going to happen, but you know what? I was like, do I stop filming this day? What do I do? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep filming because these videos are going to be here way after this chaos goes away, and someone might start up in the end and go, I want to go back and see the other challenges. So where it's going from my book, Less Stuff, More Life, you can get this book for free. You don't even have to pay for it. I'll put a link below. Just go and click on it and download it and have it. You can follow along with us. Some of these things you might want to do, some of the things you might not want to do. We're just going through each and every week. We're on week 14 right now. Like I said, if you watch this and go, I do not want to do that, well then great, maybe go on to the next one, or maybe go on to the one behind us, or whatever. It's just to challenge you to do something different in your life. You're doing this to help add some kind of thing in your life that's going to give you a little bit more of a, like, cutting out things, adding value to your life, things like that, things where you're able to make an impact to other people. So this week is going to be one, some people might like it, some people might not like it. It's to watch your words. What? Watch your words? Sometimes people don't even think about what they say, right? You don't even, our words, the Bible talks a lot about our mouth being like deadly poison because we can just spew things out of this mouth that we don't even think about the words that we say, right? That's why a lot of things you can say things to people, but you sometimes can't take those back, right? You can apologize, but sometimes you can say things to people and it just destroys a person, right? That's why it's so important about the word you speak to a child, the word you speak to your spouse, because when you say things, you can't take those words back. So it's important as a Christian to watch your words. Now before, even when I first became a Christian, I didn't think much about my words. I was still saying things, and I know you've come across people that became a Christian, or maybe some that have been doing it for a long time, and they say things and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they just said those things. But we have to remember, we are all in different places in our lives. So no judgment on this at all. There is no judging on anything. Some people might not like the words that I say. This is time for you and God to figure out what's the word you should be saying and what you shouldn't be saying. So a lot of times you might not even think about your words. You might think that they are a swear word. I know my kids will say, oh, Lauren swore, Jaden swore, and I'm like, she swore. What is the word she swore? And it might just be like the word stupid. And it just might be a word that we don't use in our household. Not that it's a terrible word, but just ones that I don't want them saying as something that's part of their vocabulary. So you got to judge what's going to be good for your own home and what the words you can say. And myself, I know that I can talk and I can carry on a conversation and just start talking, and I didn't really think about the things I say. And then what struck me is when we went to a lot of Amish homes, a lot of them were very quiet when you spoke to them. They would, it's almost like they were pondering their words for a minute, and then they would say something, and I thought, why do they have like that pause and everything? And I thought that was just socially different, because we're just used to talking and just saying whatever you want to say. And I was like, why are they doing those things? And then I learned after talking and asking that they were pondering their words, because they didn't want to say some kind of idle words. They didn't want to say things that they shouldn't have said. They were slow to speak, as it says, and the Bible talks about that a lot, being slow to speak about your words, because they didn't want to say the wrong thing. They didn't even joke around. Like, I know I'll do that, and I'll say something and be like, oh, I'm just kidding, or somebody will say something sarcastic, like, and they expect that you would take that as a joke, and not everybody does. And some people look at you like, what? And I know I've worked a lot on that. I still do it, but I know I'm a lot more careful, because some person might take that the wrong way and it might offend them in a certain way. And so try to be careful with your words. So why should we make this change? Why should we make this change? Because when you become a follower in Jesus and as a Christian, you should be different and set apart from the world, right? People should be able to look at you and notice that your speech is different and that things you do are differently than anybody, right? In the book of Matthew 12:36, it says, but I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account of thereof in the day of judgment. It has that in this word. It says in 2 Corinthians 3:12, it says, seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech. Jesus reminds us the words we speak are actually the overflow of our hearts. Yeah, out of the abundance of the mouth, I have that, Matthew 12:34, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Usually when you say things, even if you don't think you're saying the right things or whatever, a lot of what's inside your heart comes out of your mouth. That's why it's so important to get your heart right, because when you're having argument in times of stress, you just want to spew out things. Well, usually it's because there's issues inside your heart that you have not worked on. So it's so important to get your heart right with God, let him heal those wounds and all those things inside of you, so that you don't have to spew them out of your mouth. There's nothing to spew but love and true, genuine love. And so I share these things because it was brought to my attention by another Christian woman in love, and it was nothing like a terrible thing. And is it a sin to say these words? No. Is God gonna bring hellfire and brimstone to you? No. But it's just something that you need to ask God to see if it's something you need to be doing. I know for myself, it was a personal conviction to say it. And when I hear those words, I'm like, oh, it like irks me. Like, okay, I shouldn't be saying those words. Some of these words that I worked on, eliminating from my speech. Do I say them? Like, of course, swear words. I won't say those just because I don't. That's just not part of me. But I know that if I'm hearing them over and over, or if I slip and say them, they're still inside there. Then you need to say, hey, God, I need to erase that from my mind and erase that from my vocabulary, because you don't want to be spewing those words. Things like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. Those are a good substitute for that people would use in swearing. So why are we using those words, right? Oh crap, it's one of those things that people say, and it's like, I always say, really, is there poop or manure there? Now, why are we using those words? Good Lord, gosh, jeepers, lordy, holy cow, all those things, they're just substitutes for using God's name in vain. So I always say, whenever somebody says, holy cow, I say, really, is that cow holy, really? Or crap, freaking, darn it, dang it, friggin', shoot, shucks, all these words, sucks, all these words that you think about it and you hear these and you're like, should you be saying those words? And I'm saying them right now and I'm like, this is horrible. I'm probably gonna edit this out. Maybe I'll put them on the screen instead. But it's like, are those good words to be speaking out to people for their speech? It's no different than the world. So you gotta be careful with what you say. The key is, which words should you say and which words should you not say? I don't know. That's gonna be between you and God. It's time for you to get right with the Lord and say, hey, what is it I need to eliminate from my vocabulary? And then when you say that word, God will be like, oh, don't be saying that word, and he'll convict you of it. And then you're like, oh, really? Just listen and just go, okay, I'm not gonna say that word anymore. And then when you want to say it again, don't say that word. He'll help remind you so that it starts to become routine in your life so that you don't say it. And it's not usually good to find a replacement for those words. When you're a drug addict or addicted to something, you don't need a replacement for that. You just need to pay attention to your triggers and change the way you respond to things. So instead of getting fumed and say that, take a breath. Okay, how should I respond to this in love? So the key, I think, is just take a moment for some silence. It's good to ponder for a moment. When someone comes to you with some crazy news and the first thing you want to do is respond with anger or respond with bad words, go, take a minute to think. They might think you're crazy for pausing. All right, Lord, what is the words I need to say? Like when Jesus, people came to him with a bunch of information and they're like, what should we do? Remember the woman they said that was committing adultery? Mind you, there was no man, there was just the woman. And they said, what are we gonna do with her? Kill her, kill her, kill her. And Jesus didn't respond back with like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? He didn't do that. He actually bent down on the ground, started writing in the dirt on the ground. And I believe maybe he was talking to his Heavenly Father to get the words that he's supposed to say, because he says, I only speak the words that my Father gives to me. Then he stood back up and then he responded, and it just blew them away. So when you're tempted in a situation, especially when things are crazy and everybody's coming up with crazy ideas and you want to spew off, oh, I want to do this too, especially when I get texts from people or comments from people and I just want to respond back. That's my natural sinful desire. Pause for a minute and go, okay, how can I respond in love? And take a minute. Jesus took a minute. We should take a minute and go, how can I respond to the situation correctly? Ask him and he'll give you the words of wisdom. It says in the Bible, if anyone asks, he shall receive. You need wisdom, he'll give it to you. That's what we do, and that's how we can respond in love to people, because sometimes we just want to respond in our own selfish ways, and then guess what? That ruins our testimony over and over and over and over. I know I've done it in my life, and situation of people that have come against me and I did not respond in love. And I think, how did that show Jesus at all? That's right where people go, that's why I don't want to be a Christian. That's why I don't want to be doing, because if that's how they live, then I don't want to be that way. We need to be the church. We need to be the followers of Jesus all the time, especially in this time right now, especially when this chaotic time is going on. When people come and start saying, oh my gosh, did you hear this? Did you hear these words? Did you hear all these words? You just say, oh, I know, I don't even know what we're gonna do. Stop for a minute and just go, oh, that is sad. But, and then ask the Lord for some words to say in that word. Get them off that crazy hiatus level and go, I'm sorry, get them more on a, oh, really? You're not going to respond with craziness with me? No, we're not going to feed the fuel of that. We're going to be able to focus on the Lord and go, okay, this is the goodness he has for us. This is what we're going to do. And if we don't know what we're going to do, we're going to pray about it. And God will, and trust that God's going to give us the wisdom to know what to do, right? Don't have to worry about things going on. If people don't know, I don't know either. We don't know all the answers, but we can say, okay, may not know, but I do trust in a God that will give us the answers and give us what we need when we need it. And that's how you can respond. So it's just the key this week is just to be focusing on your words. Your words can bring healing and comfort to a person, and your words can also push back and make a person go further and further away. So you want to be words that are uplifting and building up people, not tearing down people, especially in your home, with your kids, with your spouse, things like that. When you're speaking words that they've just become so part of you, and you use that excuse, well, that's the way I've been brought up. That's all I know. That's all I've been doing. Well, you can't use that excuse your whole life. You need to take responsibility for yourself and say, okay, I need to change. Regardless of how I was brought up, regardless of what I've done my entire life, and I need to speak words that are going to bring life to people, bring hope to people, and bring peace to people, and bring marriages together, bring husbands and wives together because they're words that are building up, not tearing down. Bringing kids together because they're words that are not against. Don't be always fighting with them. Just, okay, encourage them. Positive words that build them up no matter what, especially if you got a little bit of friction in there. That person, if you build them up a little bit more, they might just still be resistant for a minute, but after a little bit, they'll break if you keep bringing that positive. But the moment you bring that negative, oh, they're like, oh, then I'm just gonna keep going back, and you're fighting. So you wanna have those positive words that flow so that this person, it'll just break and then just be able to envelope and love. But it takes one person making the decision to do that. And it can be difficult. This mouth right here, no one can tame the tongue, because it is a very hard thing to control, because it's so easy to get your feelings hurt. It's so easy to get stepped on and want to just go to someone. So watch this mouth. Ask the Lord for wisdom. Sometimes you might be quiet, a lot more quieter than usual. I think throughout my life, I used to be a huge talker all the time, talk. And then I've learned, you know what? I need to stop talking, and I need to listen, and I need to ask for words. Sometimes that might make you more of a quiet person. That might make people go, why aren't you talking to me? Why are you not doing things? Because sometimes you're just thinking about what you need to say, and sometimes you don't have the right words to say, so it's best just to be silent, because your words may not be very positive to somebody. So keeping that focus, all right, I need words of encouragement right now. Give me words of encouragement to use. And your words can build people up, do not tear them down, and give peace and hope to a time that some people need that right now, because things are falling apart. So, right, this week, your challenge is going to be to watch your mouth, watch your words and what you say, especially with things coming up. Every time everybody comes against you and brings something, instead of your natural inclination to respond back, go, all right, Lord, what can I say? Ask him for positive words in your mouth. And then those slang words and those things that we say all the time, ask the Lord, is there any part of my speech that I need to change and need to wipe out of my life and not say anymore? And get serious. Maybe it's something simple. Maybe it's just like the word stupid. I know that's like something is stupid, but I know when in our house with the kids, I was like, that's a swear word. So just not getting them used to saying that word. Just use a different word that's not going to be degrading to people. And who knows what that may look like for your household. Everybody's is different. You're just going to do you and what God has for you in your circle of influence, because you're going to be able to impact people different than I'm going to impact people. So watch your words. Watch this mouth right here. Ask the Lord for wisdom when you don't know what to say. Quiet's the best thing to do. And asking God, and he can speak through you, and that words that bring life, bring healing to a person's soul. You can do that this week. All right, so that's your challenge this week. Watching your mouth, asking the Lord for wisdom. It might appear that you're a lot more quieter this week. I know it might be quiet for a few weeks, but you're going to do this. I believe in you. So, all right, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and we are going to see you guys again tomorrow for another day in the life. We'll see you soon. Okay,